This week, we are starting a brand new scientific unit about energy and forces and motion, and there's a lot that we're going to have to learn. So to keep all of our information organized, today we're going to be building something called a RAN. A RAN is an acronym where each letter of that word stands for something that we need to do. R in RAN stands for reading. We're going to be taking in information about the topic. Analyzing means that once we have this information, we're going to pick it apart and find that core idea. And you've heard what nonfiction is. Those are our true statement passages. So a RAN is like a pamphlet. And in each section of the pamphlet, we will fill in notes about what we're learning about this week. So don't feel overwhelmed. We're going to be using this all week long. You are not expected to fill this out in one day, but you are expected to keep good care of it because you'll need to hold on to it all week long. So before I tell you the excitement of what we'll be doing to explore energy and forces in motion, amusement park, we're going to build one of these RANs together. So get yourself a sheet of paper, a marker, a pencil, whatever you need to make this RAN personal and special for you. Start with a piece of paper that's going to be folded horizontally, side to side in thirds. So let's lay out that piece of paper horizontally so that your long edge is going side to side. And on each side, you're going to fold in 1/3. I recommend starting over on your right-hand side, creasing it down, and then folding it again over itself on the left-hand side and creasing it down. If you fold on the right side first, then you're able to create a book cover that opens first. So that's why I recommend you fold this part down first. Once you're on your front cover, you want to put your name and you want to put your acronym RAN for RAN. So I put Mrs. Schumann's RAN. Now I added the apostrophe S at the end of my name because this is my RAN. I am the only scientist who's going to take notes in this RAN. So I put my name, Mrs. Schumann's, RAN, R for reading. I stuck in a little and, so it could say reading and analyzing, nonfiction. Pause this video to work on the cover of your RAN. In a few seconds, I'm going to move on to the next panel of your RAN. All right, once you are unpaused and you have finished your cover, let's fold open to our first flap. Now, because it's the start of our RAN, just like the start of the book, this is where our first information is going to go. And that's what I know. What are the pieces of information we are already walking into this unit knowing? So at the top of your first panel, when you fold open, so it'll be on the back side of your cover, write the words, "What I know." Pause if you need to do that step, otherwise I'm going to move on in about 5 seconds. This flap is still folded in. So when you open the cover, these are actually the 2 panels you see first, which is perfect because these are the first 2 panels we're going to fill out today after we explore our theme park. And in the second panel, we're going to put what I wonder. What is it that we wonder about with this unit? We haven't learned anything yet, so we probably have a lot of questions floating around our head. So these are our 2 first panels that we're going to fill out. What we already know, and what is it that we wonder about? Pause this video if you need to write the words, "What I wonder." Notice along the way you're going to see little decorative touches that I put into mine because this is my RAN and I want it to be special for me. So next to "What I wonder," I put a big question mark to fill up that extra space. Because I know we're talking about energy and forces, I put waves like in an ocean because that looked fun for me. Make your RAN personal for you. If that means including color, then include color. Now that you have these 2 panels done, we're going to flip open our next panel. In the center panel of our RAN, we're going to write the words, "What I confirmed." Now, as you write down the words, what I confirmed, listen to what's going to go into this panel. Today, we're going to keep it blank because we're just starting this unit and we haven't learned anything new about energy and forces. But later on, as we learn new information, we're going to see, was I right about what I know? Did my research prove that I know about energy and forces? And whatever it was that you guessed correctly would go into the what I confirmed. This is what I previously thought, and using my research, I knew that I was right. Because you haven't started research, this is going to be left blank at the end of our lesson today. But for now, start with your title, What I Confirmed. If you still need time to finish this, make sure you pause your video because I'm going to move over to the next panel, What I Learned. Again, this is another panel we're going to leave blank for today. Only put in your heading for now, What I Learned. Because like I mentioned, we're just starting this unit. We don't know any information yet. The difference between these two panels is that in this panel, you're saying, yes, this is what I got correct when I made guesses at the start of my unit. This is a space for you to put brand new information that you didn't know about until you started this unit. So because we haven't done any of our research yet, by the end of our lesson today, this will be left blank only with the heading, What I Learned. Get this panel filled out by pausing your screen, or if you're ready to move on, I'm going to flip my entire RAN upside down because you should just have one more panel left. The last panel on the back says misconception. What is a misconception that you learned throughout this unit? Again, this is going to be a panel that we won't really fill out until we finish our entire unit because we haven't done our research yet. But a misconception is an idea that you thought was right, but when you dug deeper and did more research, you realized that you were actually wrong about it, and you need to correct yourself with that. Since, again, we haven't done any research, by the end of our lesson today, this is going to be left blank. We're going to fill it in later in the week. But for now, you need to put your heading, misconception. Now, pause this video if you need to. Otherwise, I'm going to go back over all of the panels you've just filled out. You have filled out a cover with your name, '(S), RAN, Reading and Analyzing Nonfiction. When you opened your first flap, you put the words, What I Know, with the middle flap saying, What I Wonder. When you opened it completely, your middle panel says, What I Confirmed, and your far right panel says, What I Learned. If you wanted to include little decorations along the way, I think that's fantastic. Make this a personal RAN for you. Finally, your last step is that on the back side of your entire RAN, you put the word misconception, where you're going to fill in all of the things that you previously thought were correct, but actually realized is wrong and different information. Now remember, you're going to be using this for the entire week, so you need to hold on to it, because as we do lessons, we're going to add more and more to our RAN. Today, because we're just exploring the idea of energy, the only two panels we will fill out after learning about theme parks is What I Know and What I Wonder. So now that you have your RAN filled out, let's get to the good stuff. about our RAN. After we ride on our roller coaster, we're going to talk about what is it that I already know and what is it that I already wonder about motion, energy, and force. Now, we've all experienced something that has motion, energy, and force, but we might not exactly know what these words mean. So let's make some good guesses and let's ask ourselves some questions that we want to learn about. I'm going to keep these 3 words in mind, so I'm going to keep this off to the side as I do my writing today. Now, these are my brain notes. If you had some similar ideas, that's awesome. You can absolutely include them into your RAN, but this says Mrs. Schumann's RAN. So if you need to take a moment and pause and include some extra notes that you know about motion, energy, and force, add some unique ideas to this panel right here. But if you're ready to move on to the next panel with me, I'm going to move on in about 5 seconds, so you have a choice. Pause or move on with me. All right. Now I'm going to go over to what is it that I wonder? I haven't learned anything about these words yet. I haven't learned anything about what makes a roller coaster move yet. I haven't heard anything about what makes things go quickly. So I have lots of questions flowing around in my head. I know both you and I could come up with endless questions about these words. Today, I want you to try to at least come up with 3. I came up with 2, and I'm afraid if I come up with a third more, we might have some similar questions on your pamphlet and mine. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let you fill in your own questions from here. Now, if you have more than 3 questions, yes, fill out more than 3 questions. But for now, here are some ideas, and go ahead and add your own. What is it that you wonder? What is it that you want to learn about as we go through this unit?